While we have all of our speakers online, so I suggest we can start. And those who did not connect, they can later listen to the recording. And it is often the case that the recordings are very much demanded. So people are still asking when we shall post the recording from the previous seminar. We haven't done it yet. So I welcome you at our online seminar, Assessing the Economic Effects of Energy Technologies. It's organized by the Research Laboratory for Science and Technology Studies of the HSE University. Our discussion today will focus on the econometric models that are specifically designed to measure the effects of energy technologies. We will give examples of the published studies, and the presenter will demonstrate the application of these models that are built on the different variables such as economic growth, financial development, foreign direct investment, trade, inflation, and so on. And these models are used to foresee the future of energy markets and energy trends, and to evaluate the impacts of energy policies. So our speaker today is Dr. Nurkan Kilинч-Ата, Senior Research Fellow at HSE University and Assistant Professor at Sultana Kabus University at Oman. Dr. Kilинч-Ata is a researcher that specializes in energy economics. Her research interests cover such topics in addition to energy economics as environmental economics, mineral economics, and other adjacent areas. Her studies focus on assessing the resource base for energy transition, the technologies that are required for this energy transition, at decarbonization drivers and challenges, specifically in the energy sector, and the public perceptions of energy technologies. Mm-hmm. He also looks into the tools to assess the effects of policies and to stimulate energy market outcomes. He applies economic theories to address different energy-related grand challenges that the outcomes may be focused on clean energy transition and market efficiency. In addition to her extensive academic contributions, Dr. Kilинч-Ata is open to dialogue with both industry and non-industry stakeholders and to bridge the gap between research and decision-making. And we shall also hear the two discussants afterwards. So please, Dr. Kilинch-Ata, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you so much to invitation me and also to giving this opportunity with you. Yes, I would like to share my presentation with you. This one. Sorry. Yes. Yeah, today my presentation and title is the Assessing the Economic Effects of the Energy Technologies. Yes, I can see full screen. Yes, energy technologies. Of course, before starting off to my presentation, I would like to talk about myself. Also, Liliana talk about myself, and also I did my PhD. Just only I want to say missing part, and I got my PhD University of Stirling in Scotland, and also I did the postdoctoral fellow in HSE. And for that time, I met with Liliana, and after the Moscow, I moved in UAE, and I was working there as an assistant prof. At the present, I am in Oman, and I am working Sultana Kabus University as an assistant professor. Actually, of course, my presentation and title I said before, and assessing the economic effect of the energy technologies. And before, just on, I would like to give some fact information because why we need this information. End of this middle of this presentation, I'm going to talk about my papers, which kinds of the econometric models I used. Actually, for this energy economics is the specifically focus on the energy sources, and for this and also for this topic include for the forces motivating the firms, customer to supply, use energy resources, market and regulation structures, environmental consequences, and economically efficient use. Also for this semester, I am teaching the energy economics topics and energy economics courses. For these courses, I am looking from the principle of the micro perspectives, and of course for the energy economics, not just only focus on the individuals, and also focus on the firms as well, and also of course we can allocate of the resources as a renewable, maybe as a green and non-green, and also for this improve and deploy of these resources. And of course we need some kinds of the policies for these policies directly directly set up from the governments to organize of the market and regulation of the structure. And also of course another main topics of the energy economics is environmental. This is the very important climate change, and also we know that, and many countries would like to reach zero carbon emission by 2030 or 2050. Actually, of course, maybe in this point we can say that there is some kinds of the role in energy economics activities. The first role is of course environmental concern. This is the important for the climate change, and another one is the technological concern. For this technological concern, why this is important? Because of course for the green energy we need the cutting edge technologies, and for this technologies, some of technologies is the improve, but some of them is still under the process, and of course they are so costly, but we know that for this technology directly impact to increase of the energy efficiency and energy saving. And another one is the market concern. For this is the market concern, of course in here we are looking for the demand and supply of the energy, and for the if we look at from the demand and demand from the energy, of course we have to consider capital, land, labor, and material. Also of course for this market concern directly related with the failures, and for this failures very competitive specifically in this area. And also the last one is the strategic concern. Actually for this is directly related with the security of supply. Of course many countries unfortunately dependent on the energy sources, and so they would like to provide the security of the they would like to increase the security of the countries. For this for this kinds of the strategic concern directly related, this is the key roles for of the energy in the economics. Actually yes, still I'm continue to talk about the importance of the energy economics. For the energy economics help us make informed the decision, and also of course for the energy economics promotes the innovation, because for the promotes the innovation it means that of course always we have to improve this area. For example, for the maybe 10 years ago we don't talk about the blockchain technologies, but at the present we can talk about the blockchain technologies to transition of the clean energy technologies. And also another one is the energy economics directly supports sustainable development. Actually, in a general, when we look at this area, and there are many new focus area for studies in the energy economics, and specifically more researcher and more papers focus on the energy transition. Of course, this is the clean energy transition, and for the also this is the very important for the researcher and for us. us. And why? Because of, we know that Paris Agreement for the 196 countries signed of the Paris Agreement. According to this agreement, all countries have to reduce, they have to reach net zero carbon emission target by 2030 or by 2050. Of course, for the to reach of this aim, okay, this aim also we have to focus to reach of this aim. We have to focus to climate equality, because for this climate equality, poverty, maybe we can say that also. This is the important topics at the present, because maybe developed countries focus on the green energy technologies because they don't have any economic they don't have any economic concern. But when we look at the developing and underdeveloped countries, unfortunately there is some climate inequality. And why? Because unfortunately it is very difficult to reach green energy technologies to use to their countries. Another one is the another topic is the decoupling emissions from the economics growth. Actually, maybe this is not possible, but because of course when we are doing the analysis about the clean energy technologies, and we have to add the GDP, because for this GDP directly related to increase or decrease of the emission. And another one is the carbon capture, storage and use. Also, this is the very important topic at the present. Some of the researchers focus on this topic because still, unfortunately, some of the energy sources doesn't have enough storage background. And of course, we can produce the energy, but then immediately we have to use it. And unfortunately, there is no any technologies to storage of the energies to use of the later. And the last one is the climate and environment resilience and adaptation. Also, this is the related with others, and also this is the new focus area in the energy economics. Actually, for the in energy economics, we can use the two kinds of the methods: quantitative methods and qualitative methods. For the quantitative methods, directly we are doing the analysis by using the second-hand data. For the qualitative methods, maybe this is a bit difficult than the others, because of course it is very difficult to collect of the data as a primary. And so for this presentation, I'm going to talk about the quantitative methods. For these methods include the different kinds of the modeling. Actually, the first modeling is the econometric, cost-benefit, input-output analysis, life cycle, and optimization modeling. And for today, I'm going to talk about the econometric modeling, because in my papers, in my project, and I am focused on this model, econometric models. Actually, for these econometric models generally use statistical techniques to estimate the link between the variables in energy sector and energy sectors and clean energy transition, carbon emission, the link between the energy consumption, and also the link between micro and micro variables such as GDP, inflation, investment, interest rate also include these variables. Actually, for the econometric models are used to estimate also future energy market trends. Actually, for this kinds of the estimates, we are using these models, because we have to make the forecast how these variables impacts of the energy policies and regulation in the future. Actually, at the present, I would like to talk about my papers. I would like to give some of the examples from my papers. Actually, specifically, I pick up some of papers. For these papers, I use the different kinds of the econometric models. Why I can use these models, I I'm going to talk about. And also, of course, for the according to your papers, according your case, according your aim of your paper, and also according to your data, we can choose, we can select which model, which econometric model is suitable for this paper. For example, this is my latest papers, one of my latest papers, the contribution of the energy policies to green energy transition in Asia Pacific region. Actually, for this study aims to analyze the role of the energy policy instruments. As energy policy instruments, we can get feed-in tariffs, quota, tenders, and tax incentives for how these energy policy tools directly impact to improve and to deploy of the renewable energy sources. For this paper, we select 16 Asia Pacific economies because, of course, it is very difficult to find some data, some of the countries, and so we have to pick selected countries. For this paper, we use the panel data estimation. Panel data this estimation, we use the fixed effect model. This is the OR equation. This is the OR model. According to this model, how policy instruments impact of the renewable energy sources. Why we chose this panel data approach, because this panel data approach is used to produce consistent estimates of the parameter coefficient, and also, of course, this model allows us to build a test for the link between the capacity for the renewable energy, renewable electricity, or dependent variable, and unobserved heterogeneity. Actually, of course, for this reason, also, of course, we chose the 16 countries. For this, we have the 4 main independent variables. Also, we have some of the control variables, and so for these kinds of the data, we have to choose panel data estimation. For the second paper, my second paper is directly related with the mineral resources. Again, in this paper, I look at how is the critical mineral resources impact on the clean energy transition. Actually, please pay attention of the figure. Of course, we can use these critical minerals in the transportation sector and electricity sector. For the specifically or EV cars, include more than the 5 critical minerals. And also, when we look at the power generation and offshore wind, onshore wind, and solar PV, they are the renewable energy infrastructure. They need again more critical variables. Actually, of course, why we can say the critical variables, because for the U.S. minerals departments of energy and noise 50 critical mineral resources. Of course, this mineral resources is very important for the economics people, and why we are looking from the supply and demand perspectives. For the maybe past 10 years ago, there is no more demand for these minerals, but at the present, of course, green energy technologies is increase, EV cars is the increase. Of course, for the supply is decrease, demand is the increase. Actually, of course, for this demand and supply should be balanced, and so maybe in the future we had some of the problems about these critical minerals. For these papers, I chose the 14 countries. These 14 countries is the most important import mineral resources. Most import mineral resources countries include the US and UK and others. I chose this according to this, and for this papers I used the cross-sectional autoregressive distributed leg model. Why I can use this model? Because for this model, ARDL model, cross-sectional IRDL model, there is we can make linear combination of the average cross-sectional of the both dependent and independent variables to account for cross-sectional correlation in the error term. Actually, of course, this is my equation. According to this, my equation, this is my dependent variable is the mineral mineral imports, and so according to this my dependent variable, I can choose the sum of the independent and control variables as well. Also for this C cross-sectional ARDL model makes it possible to significantly control for the unobservable factors, and also for this model suitable for long and short term estimation. And because also of course we know that, and short and long term estimation is the different, and also fundings is the different from the economics perspectives. For the another papers, this is my another paper. This another paper is again related with the clean energy transition, but for here our main independent variables are digitalization and financial development. But for here, for this paper, we chose the case country. Actually, just only we have the one country, Malaysia. So of course, for the previous two papers, our data is the panel data, but in here our data is the time series data, because we have just only one country. For this country, for this paper, we can use bias and autoregressive distributed lags approach. Why we can of course this is our equation of for our dependent variables is the renewable, but our main independent variable is the digitalization, and also we have the sum of the control variables. One of them is the financial development. Actually, of course, for this model, it is suitable to make the analysis in this paper. Why? For this bias and autoregressive distributed lags, this is the kind of the co-integration test. For this co-integration test, but of course we are using the Bayesian base. For this Bayesian base, looking for the long-term co-integration between the variables, and also for this model allows us to find some kinds of the fundings from the F test and T test. Actually, of course, for this paper, we can use the ERDL model, but we choose BRDL model because for this model estimates important value of the F test and T test. But ARDL model just they don't give an idea about they didn't give any important value about the F and T test. My another paper, this is again related with the clean energy transition. Of course, for my papers related with the clean energy transition. For the just on, I can change my methods, my case countries, my span time, and also of course my independent and control variables. For here, my dependent variable is again carbon emission, and also for specifically my main independent variable is tourism, how tourism impact on the clean energy transition. Actually, also for this paper, I used the time series data. Just only we have the case country. For my case country is the UAE, United Arab Emirates. And why I chose this country? Because we know that for this country, in here, this figure, there is a given some information about the tourism GDP in UAE, and also what is the number of the international tourist arrivals in the United Arab Emirates. Actually, of course, this is the most popular holiday destination, specifically for the rich people. So we would like to look at how is the relationship between the tourism and clean energy transition. But for this paper, okay, for the previous paper, again, we have the case study, but in here, this is the case study. But for this paper, we used the Fourier autoregressive distributed lagged approach. Why we can use this approach? Because, of course, our main, we chose the main independent variable, but we have the two independent variable, main. And the first one is what is the tourism GDP? Another one is what is the number of the tourist arrivals? Actually, of course, for these two variable, two data is the proxy data each other's, and for these kinds of the data, it is suitable to use of the Fourier autoregressive distributed lag approach, FADL approach. For this approach, also provides investigation of the co-integration by accounting of the structural break. Of course, when you look at also for this structural break, it is important to specify specifically on the tourism area. And when you look at in this figure, this figure is the expected tourism indicators 2005 and 2028, but this is the till just on the 2022. And so some of the part, unfortunately, this is the structural. For example, 2020, when we look at tourism, expected tourism is the decrease. This is the kind of the structural break, because of course that time, COVID time, and so for the COVID time, for the many countries close the gates for the people. And so, of course, we have to find these breaks by using this model. And also for this model, also more suitable than conventional ADL model. Why? Because, of course, for this model, we are using the time varying constant term. This term is used in the Fourier ADL models. These models directly capture the structural breaks. Also, of course, if you have the more dummy variables, you can use this model. But for this paper, we didn't use any dummy variables. Also, this paper is another paper is the directly related. This is the directly related energy translation as well. For in this paper, again, I have the case country. My case country is the Russia. This paper aims to identify of the factors. This how identify of the factors how influence, how impact growth of the renewable energy sources in the Russia between the 19 and 2020. Also, when we look at in this figure, unfortunately, solar and wind energy sources maybe they are Russia using this energy sources, but percentage the use of the rate is very small, and in specifically Russia generate of the electricity from the hydropower. So for this paper, I am using the vector error correction model. Why I used this model? Because for this model is best option if the variables had only one co-integration relationships. Actually, of course, I chose the my variables. After my variables, I have to look at how is the relationship each other. If there is a one co-integration each others, I have to choose this model. This model is best option to make the analysis for these kinds of data. this kinds of data and this kinds of the relationships. And also, of course, for this model also used to determinants of the occasions. Okay, how is the what is the relates each other? There is the one way or two way relationships between the variables. Of course, we can decide to use of this model. Also for this model, another advantage to use of this model for the long term. Yes, this model give an idea about long term relationship between the variables, and also maybe for the long term we can lose some of the variables. For if you use this model, for this model directly prevents losses of the variables. Yeah, this is just only, I would like to give some of examples from my papers. Specifically, I chose these papers. I used different kinds of the econometrics model. And so we can say that, and the econometric models can predict how the clean energy transition will be, and thus assess the economics factors affecting energy technologies. And also quantitative methods are also combined with other qualitative methods. For the other qualitative methods, maybe directly related with the policy analysis and comprehensive policy analysis and stakeholder engagement. And for these kinds of the analysis and stakeholder engagements to provide comprehensive approach to the energy economics. Actually, in here, of course, for my papers in the previous slides, I mentioned the reference, and also I suggest some of the reading list in here. Also, thank you so much for your attention. If you have any question, you're always welcome.
Thank you very much, Nurkhan. So we shall now hear from our two discussants. And our first discussant is Associate Professor Dr. Майя Пуспа Рахман, who is the Director of the Islamic Department of International Sharia Research Academy for Islamic Finance, ISRA, of Research Management Center, and the International Center for Education in Islamic Finance, ICEIF University. Dr. Puspa has over a decade of teaching experience in economics and finance in Malaysia and the United Arab Emirates. With a background in fund management, investment, and takaful, she previously served as Deputy Manager of the Investment Division at the leading Malaysian takaful firm. After earning her PhD in Islamic Banking and Finance in 2015, she joined academia, contributing to the International Islamic University Malaysia and Al-Qasimiyah University in Sharjah. Currently at ICEIF University, Dr. Майя manages the university's research fund and has participated in several intellectual engagements with industry, players, and academicians. She was a recipient of research grants from USAID, UNDP, and other institutions, and she has done training for organizations like the Istanbul School of Central Banking, the Sahara Group Training, and other organizations. She's also an advocate for impactful learning, so she specializes in money and banking, Islamic finance, and financial economics, integrating real-world applications into her teaching. So, Dr. Майя, please, the floor is yours.
Right, thank you so much, and good evening, Dr. Liliana. Thank you so much, and it's also a pleasure for me to be part of this, what do you call it, knowledge sharing. Yeah, thank you. And this is also my first time with the Institute for Statistical Studies and Economics of Knowledge, HSC University. But just a couple of weeks back, I joined the conference, which is also being organized by the HSC University under the School of Finance, the ESG and Corporate Dynamics in Emerging Capital Markets, 2024. It was undertaken. It was held in 6 and 7 December. So, as a discussion to Dr. Nurkhan's paper, thank you so much for again for inviting me. I think Dr. Nurkhan has basically provided a very insightful and current topic of presentation. it is specifically relevant and essential, because whenever we talk about energy economics, we have to be able to associate it with the current sustainability effort and whatnot. Yeah, the things that is related to the sustainable development goals, the 17 goals, the pillars and whatnot. And we are also looking at the policy implication. So I suppose Dr. Nuchan, when she presented the papers, yeah, some of the papers that she has actually highlighted, has of course specifically focused on the applied econometrics. And that is where lies the strength of Dr. Nuchan, because she was able to basically apply different kinds of approach using a cross-sectional ARDL model, using a Bayesian ARDL model, yeah, the one that we have actually studied and published together, using Fourier ARDL, VECM, and also fixed effect panel model. When I look at and when I listen to her presentation also, she has highlighted several areas where it can basically be researched further. Yeah, the one that she highlighted with regards to the climate and also some of the areas, yeah, that can be further research. But specifically, what I would like to also contribute some of the ideas, yeah, because the previous paper that I have presented recently in the HSE University online last couple of weeks back, also look in terms of the renewable energy. We also look in terms of the contribution, particularly on whether and how financial institution has been able to use or to finance green projects and contribute towards carbon emission. So there have also been several studies that has been looking into the correlation between Islamic finance per se, because my expertise is also coming from finance and Islamic finance as well. And there have been several studies looking at the correlation between Islamic finance development, economic growth, carbon emissions, yeah. And just for the panel and also the participants here, information, Islamic finance has been growing substantially, yeah, targeting to be growing at more than or reaching 4 trillion of US dollars by 2025, yeah. So that's basically where we can actually look at further in terms of how this Islamic finance or financing that's coming from Islamic finance contributing to the green energy or green financing and also to carbon emissions and whatnot. If I may also suggest, if I may also highlight, yeah, Malaysia is also targeting, because Malaysia is actually heavily reliant on fossil fuels. 81% of electricity in Malaysia is basically produced from fossil fuels, and another 19% is also on hydropower. So there has been a lot of studies that will be looking into the renewable energy and whatnot, because we also target to actually reduce this using of fossil fuels and increasing the share of renewable energy, aiming about 31% by 2025 and 40% by 2035. Yeah. So that's where we can also look in terms of flourishing or expanding the research, particularly in Malaysia and also other countries as well, Asian countries as well. And if I may also add, yeah, there's also another angle that can be further explored. I think Dr. Nuchan also mentioned several others, methods apart from econometrics. She mentioned about input-output analysis, cost-benefit analysis, and also on life cycle assessment. I think another angle that can be further explored is the growth of household energy consumption and carbon emission. That is, of course, threatening the economic and environmental sustainability. So, but I suppose when we look at the literature, one of the good bibliometric analysis that has been looking into this what do you call it, energy consumption, household energy consumption, they have been frequently employing the input-output analysis and also life cycle assessment. So perhaps this could be also another way, yeah, like what Dr. Nurchan has actually, what do you call it, highlighted. And those are the areas that can be further explored. So I think as of now, that would be some of my comments, and maybe I leave it to the rest to basically, extend some inputs or sites or insights. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Maya. And we have our next, our second discussant for today, Dr. Marina Dolmatova. She's Associate Professor of Practice at the Center for Energy Science and Technology of the Skolkovo Institute of Science and Technology in Russia. At the same time, she is also head of the Market Monitoring Department of the Non-Commercial Partnership Market Council in Russia. And this partnership actually regroups key energy consumers in Russia. He has 15 years of a professional experience in electric power industry, specializes in power market design and regulation, mathematical modeling, data-driven analysis, and decision-making for complex power systems and markets. Marina, are you with us?
Yes, I'm with you. Thank you, Liliana, very much. Unfortunately, I cannot turn on my video because the internet connection is not stable. So I'm sorry, I will be only with the voice. Thank you very much for the presentation. It was really interesting, and it is very actual topic nowadays to use quantitative methods to assess energy policy, energy regulation, and the results of this policy making and regulation. So thank you. I would also say that not only quantitative methods, but even and sometimes even more dependent on the maturity, so to say, of the markets and of the corresponding regulation, the mathematical modeling becomes more and more important, because nowadays we have sort of two options. We have countries with a very well developed shifts and steps that have already been made in the way to the energy transition, and these countries now face some challenges due to previously made decisions, because, for instance, such cases as the speaker mentioned, feed-in tariffs, quotas, and some specialized decisions, they may be good at the first stage of introduction of some new technologies into the market, but they appear to be not very viable when we need to keep the whole market balanced and the whole industry to be effectively functioning. So this causes the sort of some disruption and the need for development of new market designs and new competitive, probably and most likely competitive approaches to remuneration schemes and to market design and regulation. So here we have sort of two options. The first one is that quantitative methods that the speaker has mentioned can be really good in addressing the results of the already made decisions in the regulation, and using this knowledge, the developing countries developing in terms of developing and introducing renewables and storage and other novel technologies into their markets. So these countries can have insights and can understand how it is. So they can miss some steps and try not to make mistakes that their, so to say, big brothers have already made. So the backward analysis of the regulation makes it's very important for the countries that are just on the way, and for those countries that have already made a lot for energy transition and for introducing different technologies in their generation fleet and demand management resources and so on. These methods can make a better maybe understanding how the mix of these technologies can cooperate, and I'm not sure about causation, but at least some correlation that can be observed and probably later adjusted and refined using already mathematical modeling and market design. So in this term, such analysis is inevitable. We can't miss it, and it is helpful for both the countries that have already made a lot and that are just making their first steps to make the steps more efficient and having more results. So I think that this is really something that we need to focus, because sometimes the policymakers and decision makers not very much focused on some mathematical and economical, I mean, more quantitative aspects of their decisions. They're more like qualitative, or like I have a sense that it will work. But what was the result of their action decision? It should be, if not ex ante, then ex post at least, have to make the analysis and to have the courage and the ability, using seminars like this one, papers, and some other platforms and expert societies to speak out and to say, okay, so what are the results? What are the best practices? What steps have been have done good, and what were not very efficient? So this is a very interesting, important way. So thank you. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Marina, for your comments. And now we have some minutes to ask questions, and I will go ahead with the first question. Keeping in mind what Marina has just said and what instruments have previously worked in countries that have advanced already on the way of energy transition, to what extent do you, Marina, and you, Dr. Nurkhan and Dr. Maya, think that these instruments can be applicable to other countries that are still on the way, or the early, some of the early stages of energy transition? So we can study well what has worked or what has not worked in the advanced countries, advanced on the way to energy transition. But to what extent can these policy instruments or market stimuli can be applicable to other countries? If we adjust them to the national circumstances, the social and economic circumstances, would that be enough? Or there perhaps be some instruments that are not applicable entirely due to the specificity of the national context? What do you think?
May I ask, do you talk about instruments like economical assessment instruments or policy and regulation instruments?
Policy and regulation instruments that we can assess using economic and mathematical models.
Okay, so it is now more or less clear that some regulation, some, so to say, artificial decisions that are made to stimulate something, for instance, like feed-in tariffs, quotas, and so on, if we are talking about carbon zero path of the development, they work pretty well when we need to boost something, to boost the technology, and to boost us reaching this target. But on the longer term, the efficiency is very limited. And what is also observed that the market designs that are already well established and present, there is just a number of different market designs worldwide. Yeah, they differ, but they were all designed for traditional sources. And these market designs, I'm talking about electricity, capacity markets, auxiliary services, and some, but they are not suitable for the larger generation fleet and not generation resources fleet that is present nowadays in power systems worldwide. So the importance of developing some small markets, other types of markets, becomes very actual, and important, but okay, it becomes important. Yeah. Now we understand that if, like a decade ago, we tried to introduce a market that would be efficient for all the resources that are present in our system, now it is a clear understanding that one market, one fits all, there is no such solution, one fits all. Yeah, so probably if we have a diverse resources split, they are very different. Some have mature technology, some not. Some have high capex, some not. Some have not fuel-related costs, and so on. So we need a set of markets, different markets, and here the markets of flexibility, reliability, some distributed level markets occur, and they need their own design and they need their own research, and this is an emerging and very important field that is still not very well developed, and it's need a proper research and study. So but the insights, so to say, of the experience worldwide is that we can't use old models to try to fit in the new resources and new technologies. Okay.
Thank you very much. Okay. Yeah.
Yes, I can. Actually, also, yes, thank you so much for Mariana. Actually, of course, she mentioned very good points. And of course, for my paper, just only, I am at the present, I am just only working in the econometrics model because of I have an economics background. But of course, end of my all papers, and we are giving some of the policy recommendation for the decision makers and also for the policymakers people. But she's the right. Maybe if we support our papers with the qualitative methods. For the qualitative methods allows us to get some of the information, public perception and firm perception to clean energy transition. But of course, it is the more costly and taking the more time, and so maybe it is a bit difficult to make the survey interview like this. And also you can your question is directly related for the regulation and policies. For this regulation and policies, maybe we can specify some of the regulation and policies in a general, but for this regulation and policies is not working in all countries. And of course, according to country economic situation and also geographic location, maybe also culture is the directly impact to set off this kinds of the policies and regulation. And we have to consider everything, not just only market. We have to consider market, geological location, and also for the culture as well. And according to this, we have to set off some of the regulation and policies. For example, I would like to give an example. Maybe 6-7 years ago, I did a paper. This paper is related with the policies. Again, for that time, some of the policies working every countries, but some of them is not working. Again, we did the paper for this year with Liliana in Asia countries, but we chose the 4 policies. For these policies, 3 policies just only working in the Asia countries. 1 policies is not working. But when I look at my other papers include the Europe and US, but for that policies is working to that region. Actually, of course, to set off the regulation and policies, region is location is the important as well. According to maybe first some of the international institutions related with the energy, they can analyze some of the regulation and policies in a general, but all countries, they have to redesign, they have to investigate of this policies and regulation, and they have to maybe they have to do some of the change according to their country economic, geographic and cultural situation. Yeah, this is the also directly impact. This regulation and policies is important to improve the clean energy transition. But also, but for the they didn't say, okay, this policy is working for these countries. They can't say this. Actually, of course, if they say something about the regulation and policies, they would like to see some of the evidence. Actually, for the economics people doing some kinds of the empirical analysis, and they can present a kind of the evidence to make with the analysis. But if I have an opportunity, but I would like to measure public perception specific for the clean energy transition, because this is the important, because unfortunately renewable more costly at the present, and still fossil is the more advantage for the people. And so if it is possible to measure with for the public and also maybe firm-based perception, of course this is the directly contribute of the literature and contribute of the I contribute and to giving the some idea to the policymakers people.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Nurkhan. And Dr. Maya, what is your opinion?
Yes, if I may also add, I think this is where research collaboration is very important, because policy implication is very much unique. Hence, the case study with each of the countries, if say, for example, I can do with Dr. Nuchan, with Dr. Liliana and also Marina, but I'm focusing on specifically on Malaysia, because I do understand how is the demography, the geographic, and the economy background and things like that. And I can also look in terms of the policy implication. And I do also agree that this kind of research is very costly. That's the reason why I think I believe that the government of Malaysia has allocated about $5 million to spur research, specifically looking into Islamic economics and also innovation. It can also be extended to circular economy. It can also be extended into other parts. But that is where we can actually get the funding to fund this type of research, because it's very, very, it's quite costly to do that kind of, getting public perception, getting the feedback from the stakeholders, doing a roundtable discussion, interviews and whatnot. But that is where we can actually essential to have research collaboration and things like that.
Thank you very much, Dr. Maya. Do any of the participants have any comments or questions? So then we shall close for today. Thank you very much, Dr. Nurkhan, presenter, and also thank you very much, discussants, Dr. Maya and Marina. I wish you a great evening and the rest of the year. And we see each other next year.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the invitation, and also, of course, I am looking forward to collaboration with you and Marina as well. And maybe Marina is looking from the different perspectives, and so if we combine our strongs, and we can do more, we can do good collaboration all together. And also,
very welcome to our in-person events, so we can discuss our collaboration.
Exactly.
And also, Happy New Year's to all. And yes, 2025 is coming. I hope it will be more productive years for us.
Hopefully so. Hopefully. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.